In this episode, I elaborate on minimum viable products and idea validation, both of which are very good ideas. Welcome to episode 48 of the Honest Entrepreneur Show. My name's Tom Ross, and let's get into it. I nearly fumbled the intro there. I've done so many of these, I nearly forgot my name. 48, guys, we're cracking through these. We are fast approaching 50, this new daily format. I'm really enjoying it. I've noticed a real uptick in engagement, a lot of downloads happening on the podcast, a lot of comments happening on the YouTube videos. So thank you all for your engagement. I guess I'll have a little celebration when we hit 50, but I truly, truly appreciate each and every one of you. This has been a fun ride so far. I'm going to keep doing this daily format for quite a while, I imagine.
This question is from Sonia. Hi, Tom. You've spoken about the minimum viable product and idea validation being part of your core pillars for content. Could you unravel these terms and explain in more detail?
Yes, I would be happy to, Sonia. And this is why I enjoy this show, because I put out so much content, but this daily format means if it's unclear at any point for you guys, you can be like, why don't you elaborate that on a daily episode? So thank you for forcing me to delve a little bit deeper, Sonia. Minimum viable product and idea validation. These two things are very closely linked, and I'm going to give you a brief overview, but I highly encourage everyone watching and listening, go and do your own reading because there are books written about this stuff. So a minimum viable product, what is that? It is basically the simplest and quickest and cheapest version of whatever it is you're building that you can get out to the world as quickly as possible in order to validate, that's the validation piece, if anyone wants it. So to give you an example, what a ton of people seem to do is they go, I have a great idea. I'm going to build an app or a website or a service-based business or whatever it might be. And then they go into product development phase. And I've seen this time and time again with people that I've consulted where they will literally spend like months, sometimes even years, building out this thing. And it ends up getting bits bolted on, Frankenstein, like I often talk about, and it gets feature bloat. And it ends up being like the most complex thing on earth. And so 2 years into this project and like £100,000 up the wall in terms of cost, they haven't actually sold one copy of it. They haven't really got any feedback from anyone. They've just been working away on it behind the scenes, and it hasn't ever seen the light of day. And that is what you don't want. That's terrible business. It's fraught with risk because often they actually then go to release it and no one cares. They're like, oh, damn, we got it wrong. Or our industry's moved on because we've been working on this so long, or just it wasn't quite what we expected. And so the idea of the minimum viable product is you do the opposite of that. So you build something like incredibly lean and small, but the very core of your idea. So forget all the bells and whistles and add-ons and stuff like that. You're like, that can come later. That can be a future iteration or a future version. I'm just going to boil this thing down to like the most valuable part of it, simplest, most valuable part of it. And then I'm going to get that out to the world as quickly as possible. So I'm trying to think here. All right, I've got a past client. He had an app for golfers. So this was kind of, think of it like Tinder for golfers in terms of they would meet up with strangers to play a round of golf, like no sex or anything like that. And the app was a good idea, but he spent ages building it. He hired us to develop it, but it had sat on the shelf for a long time, and he didn't actually get it out there and validate it with his market. So instead of like pouring all this time and money into development time, what he should have done is actually go round golf clubs with like the simplest, most, passable version of this app, and one by one be like, can I get you to use this, and sell it to them and be like, do you care? Would this be useful? Like, why don't you sign up now while it's in my hand? And we can get you signed up and meeting up with like people with like-minded interests and play a round of golf. That would have been awesome. But instead, all of this time went into it and features crept in. And by the time it got released, it was like, no one actually cares that much. And he could have learned that early on. Maybe he released it into the wild early on while it's actually a prototype, and no one gave a shit. And they were like, I'd never use that for these reasons. What he could have done then was either scrap the idea and save a load of time and money, or he could have pivoted, which is a better idea, taken on board those early objections, and then made a better product and quickly iterated. So the validation part of this whole theory is super useful. Whatever it is you're building, as soon as humanly possible, often you can do this before you've even built a prototype, you should go out to your market and try and essentially sell it to them, like pre-sell it to them, have conversations, like just trying to gauge if people care or not, and then take on board that feedback. And those objections really are priceless because, as I say, you can then run back to your minimal viable product. You can make quick tweaks, and then you can quickly get it back out to the market and be like, how about now? I fixed those things. What about now? Would you buy it now? So that is basically minimum viable product, and it's a very good idea for all the people who are hiding behind the process of building it. And I'm just like a little gnome in the workshop, and I'm working away in the dark, and I'm not showing anyone this is my top secret project. That sucks. It's risky. It's a bad idea. Get it out to the world, test it, and do it quickly and cheaply and simply. Question of the day: have you ever been guilty of this kind of in the dark, not sharing it with the world syndrome, where you're scared to get it out there? I know I have. How about you? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm really enjoying the YouTube show. If you are too, then be sure to hit the subscribe icon and tick the little bell to get notifications when I post new content on this platform.